What's happening, everybody? Wow. What's happening, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Six. Oh, that's great. Welcome into the Fantasy Six Pack YouTube channel for the Week 10 game preview show. I'm your host, Dylan Clemens. Here with me, as they are every week, Michael Plant and Ike. Bonnie, what is up, my friends? And nothing like getting everything flowing with a blown intro.
Oh, God.
Don't worry, we're here to advance the ball after that fumble.
Are you guys ready to talk some football? Because if you're not excited to talk football after that Thursday night game that we watched, I don't know.
I don't know what to tell you, man. That was just
pumped up. Yeah, it was
pure old school football right there.
It's just a great, awesome, glorious game.
First touchdown was a punt return, not even an offensive touchdown. You know,
I'm blanking on that dude's name too, because it was total revenge game because he got cut.
Marset or something. I think it's
Marset. Yeah,
the Bears cut him last year. That probably had to make him feel good. But anyways, guys,
what's up, Albert?
What up, Albert? Before we jump into our Week 10 game previews, I just want to remind you guys to please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you don't already to the channel, and hit that bell for notifications so you know when we go live like we are right now. Head on over to fantasy6pack.net/plans to become a all-access member for just a small price of $9.99 a month. You get access to our award-winning rankings, access to our draft cheat sheets when drafts come back around, access to our F6P Discord where you get custom advice for your leagues and DFS builds, and direct access to us. That's the best part of it, our entire F6P team. So it's honestly great stuff. And then plus DFS projections and the stacking tool. Like I said, just $9.99 a month. Make sure to get on that, guys. But are you ready to jump right into things here?
You bet your ass.
Indeed.
All right, fellas. We got 4 teams on bye this week. Some pretty big name teams as well. Kansas City Chiefs, Miami Dolphins, Philadelphia Eagles, and the Los Angeles Rams. Just think about all those fantasy relevant players who aren't there this week. What up, Dion? First game here, we got kicking it off.
I mean, I know I'm sorry to interrupt, but week 13 is going to be even worse, guys. Prepare. 6 teams on bye.
Yep,
all it's that fantasy relevant, pretty much.
It's that time of the year where we need to start looking ahead at those types of things, especially when teams are battling for playoff position.
I know we're week 10 and it's 3 weeks away, but yeah, you got 6 teams on bye. Week 13 is the last season of the regular season for most people. I mean, you're going to be wanting that win.
Absolutely. The first game here, it's another early game, guys. 8:30 kickoff Central Time. 9:30 Eastern. Indianapolis Colts taking on the New England Patriots in Germany. Ike, looking at the Colts side of things, can we officially put an end to the Zach Moss show this season with JT pretty much taking over? Or is he still someone that, you're interested in this week with the bye weeks and, like Michael Plant said, week 13 ahead?
Not this week. He should still be rostered, though, but his snap percentage has now dropped to 21%. And for the first time this year in week 9, he saw less than 10 touches. Mm-hmm. And in fact, the past 3 games, which is when Jonathan Taylor came back, it's gone from 18 to 12 to 7. So you can tell Jonathan Taylor's getting back in the game for him, and he's taking back the backfield.
Yeah, JT's definitely feeling it right now.
But keep him on your team just in case. You never know.
Yep, no doubt. And then looking at the wide receiver room here, obviously you're starting Michael Pittman. He's been very, very solid. Josh Downs also been a guy who's been very, very solid, but dealing with an injury right now. If he can't go, is there any other pass catcher who can emerge in this offense this week? Like, let's say maybe one of the tight ends. Do we see an Alec Pierce sighting, or are you just kind of?
I'll make this quick. No wide receiver or tight end saw more than 3 targets or 2 catches last week. So.
That's fair. Alec Pierce is running is playing so many snaps and running so many routes, and it doesn't.
Yeah, he's playing cardio, man.
Yeah, he just doesn't get the targets.
Doing wind sprints.
Really yep.
Obviously, Michael Pittman's gonna get the targets. He gets like 12 a game. Jonathan Taylor, now that he's back, is gonna get like 5-ish. So I don't really trust Gardner Minshew that much, anyways.
Nope. Just to support 1 or 2 guys, a slot receiver, and then the Michael Pittman type. I hear you for sure. Looking at the New England side of things, Mike, I want to talk to you about this. We saw Juju and Pop Douglas both produced the same. They each saw 7 targets. Pop Douglas played more snaps than Juju last week. Seems to be like they're easing Juju back into things as he's been dealing with an injury most of the season as well. But who would you rather start this week, Mike?
It's Demario Douglas. More targets past 3 games, 20 to 12 compared to Juju. More yards per target, 6.7 to 5 for Juju. And more yards per reception, 9.6 to 6 for Juju. And, I mean, you get the added benefit of him getting rushing attempts as well. So the thing is I reluctantly want Demario Douglas, but, I mean, realistically, guys, you want to stay away from this offense if you can. But Douglas, I guess, is the one you can get away with because here's the thing. You take away the touchdown that Juju has received in his past 3 games played. All right. And Douglas, and Douglas doesn't even have a touchdown in that 3 games. All right. So he's got, Juju's got the touchdown, which gives you more of a ceiling where Douglas has the targets, but Douglas is averaging 10 a game where Juju's only averaging 7.3 the past 3 games. So it's close. And this is where I say, like, you want to avoid this offense, but give me Douglas.
Yeah, I hear you. And then just so everybody knows, make sure you pay attention to Douglas's status. He is questionable with he was a limited participant in practice all week, so just something to pay attention to. But I think we can go ahead and jump into our next game. We got the Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens. Very good AFC North matchup. Ike, with what we saw from Deshaun Watson last week, do you have him as a top 12 guy this week, taking on a very solid Baltimore Ravens defense?
I would say better than very solid. Number 1 defense against quarterbacks. In fact, they've only allowed 7 total touchdowns to the quarterback position. Deshaun's had his struggles this year, so I would probably not top 12, so I wouldn't start him in QB1 leagues, but in super flex, I guess if you have to, you probably should hope for the best. But this could be a brutal game where defenses take control.
Yeah, 16-13 type of game, kind of what we saw on Thursday with a little better play. I could definitely see that happening. Who would you rather start, Jerome Ford or Kareem Hunt?
Well, all last week, I was actually saying Kareem Hunt because he was doing really good prior to last week. He had 3 straight RB2 finishes. That did not happen last week, and Jerome Ford looked way better, so I would lean Jerome Ford. Why'd you flip me off? You didn't have to do that. Come on.
Because I feel, and I will go back and check tape if I need to, but I feel like last week we talked about this, and you were all on Hunt, and I was on the complete opposite end of the bag because when Ford was healthy, it was his backfield. So I told you last week, and you didn't believe me, so I'm glad
you didn't tell me shit.
I'll go check tape for you.
Chalk one up for the bad guy. Looking at the Ravens side of things, Mike, who's the guy you wanted this backfield for this week? We saw Keaton Mitchell burst out on the scene, even though he played like 14 snaps. Gus Edwards, 2 touchdowns, also played, I want to say, like 14 snaps. And Justice Hill, the guy who played 30 plus snaps, didn't do a thing. So what do we do here, Mike? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you kind of took away from some of the stats I had because, I mean, you're right. Last week, I mean, Justice Hill got the bulk of the snaps, 48, and Edwards and Keaton only got 14 apiece, which is just kind of asinine if you ask me.
Yeah.
But then you go back 1 week before where Keaton Mitchell wasn't even in the picture, and week 8, I mean, all 3 of them, including Patrick Ricard, he's the one included with Gus Edwards and Hill, they all got 31 plus snaps. So it was like a 3-headed monster when it came to the snaps. But get this, last week, Hill got majority of the touches, all right, 13 to 10 for Mitchell and 5 for Edwards, so not, a whole lot. But then you go back 1 more week again, like I was saying, Edwards got 21 touches. Like, there's just no constant in this backfield right now. If you like going through an anxiety-riddled Sunday, play this backfield because you're going to just have anxiety through the roof because the only thing constant in this offense for this backfield is Edwards is the red zone back.
I was going to say him falling into the end zone seems like it's a normal thing
it's the only constant here. I mean, he's got 8 red zone touches the past 2 weeks. Next highest is Hill with 4. So give me Edwards, but it's straight up off of touchdown dependency at this point. And Keith Mitchell's a great stash, guy to have, because if he can have another game where he gets, 10 touches and does what he does, they're going to incorporate him more down the stretch.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's definitely something to monitor and definitely something to keep an eye on how big of a part he is in this offense this weekend. So that'll be definitely interesting. And then, Mike, we finally saw it last week. Odell, breakout-ish. Is he a thing now against his old team? Could we see Odell finding the end zone this week?
No, as much as Ike would like that to be real, no.
Come on, man.
He's your guy. He's your guy, man.
He's your guy.
Only because you don't know what it's like to have rookie Odell when he came off that 4-week stretch. I picked him up, and he was just godsend, man. Historic. Look it up.
For sure. Albert here's got a question while we're still on this game, though. Would you guys bench Amari Cooper for Tank Dell this week?
Man, that one's a tough one because Deshaun Watson didn't play the Ravens the first week they played. So, I'm curious.
I still like Amari.
I do like Amari slightly more. He's safer, but Tank Dell is definitely close when it comes to the safety.
Could be a shootout in that game.
And he definitely has a higher ceiling in this matchup, for Tank Dell compared to Amari Cooper, because the Ravens are the 6th best matchup against fucking wide receivers this year. I mean, yeah, Deshaun Watson looked good last week, but QBs are the worst matchup against Baltimore too. So I think really the only fantasy person you kind of want from this matchup between the Browns and the Ravens is Lamar Jackson.
Mark Andrews.
I mean, yeah,
even
I guess
that, Browns are not allowing very many points at the tight end spot, man. But still, it's like
I just say Lamar Jackson because he torched him last time.
Sure.
Yeah, I go Tank Dell there as well. And then speaking of that, we're talking about them. We got the Houston Texans taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. CJ Stroud, man, oh man, what he did last week was just awesome to watch from the rookie.
Record-breaking performance.
Does he build on that performance last week heading into this week? Because let's be real, we were starting to tread water on CJ Stroud, getting a little nervous on him for fantasy purposes because they had stopped throwing the ball a lot. Well,
which doesn't make sense because their running game is brutal.
I know. They try to just work in the backfield. That doesn't work. And then you lose an awful game to the Panthers, who we just watched on Thursday, who shouldn't beat anybody ever.
Bryce Young does not look great.
So true.
Anyways, though, he's been brutal on the road, though. I don't know if you guys know this. He's averaging 14 points, under 14 points per game on the road. So that is something to worry about. So you have to temper your expectations. But I still believe he's a top 12, and you got to fire him up because these two quarterbacks are playing lights out. Well, Stroud 1 week, Burrow for a few weeks now. Could be a shootout.
Yeah.
Should be a shootout.
That would be a lot of fun. It could be a shootout if hopefully we see Jamar Chase play on the other side of things here.
I think he will.
But
it's not certain, but signs are pointing.
Also, I want to just touch base on this. Nico Collins was ruled out, guys. So does that make Brown,
yeah, right.
Tank
Dell for sure? Then
what Albert talked about Tank Dell earlier, that was kind of a point we missed. And I would agree. Tank Dell should be over Amari Cooper this week. But what about Noah Brown? We saw him have a big week with Stroud last week. Does he slide into wide receiver 3 territory this week? Someone who you can plug into your flex spot with all the bye weeks? Or would you rather have Noah Brown or Demario Douglas?
Noah Brown.
I'd rather have Noah Brown.
See,
risky.
The thing is,
he's a risky flex.
I think he's a high-end wide receiver 3 this week with the buys.
Big playability, though.
You get Nico Collins ruled out. It's not a great matchup against the Bengals. Their defense has been proven to be pretty stingy. I mean, they held the Niners to, 17 points, I think it was, which they had been averaging 30 a game for majority of the season. So, their defense is stingy. But Noah Brown, if Tank Dell's going to receive, the priority coverage in the secondary, I think Noah Brown can take advantage of that.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with that as well. Looking at the Cincinnati side of things, Mike, and this question got nerfed. Saw the show sheet we had as T. Higgins a sell high, but that doesn't really work anymore with the hamstring injury that popped up this week. He is out this week. And we also have Ja'Marr Chase, who is expected to play, but he's been questionable and missed a practice or two this week, so it's not looking ideal for him. So maybe the Bengals want to rely on Joe Mixon here more than they already do. But then, Mike, what about Tyler Boyd? Does he just slide into wide receiver 2 territory once again with T. Higgins being out?
He's wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 territory. Yeah. I'd say more middle of the pack wide receiver 2. But the big one here and the big winner that, especially with the bye weeks you can get away with is whoever got Trent Irwin. I mean, great flex option this week. I mean, he's going to slide into the slot role. Joe Burrow's on fire. So, I mean, Trent Irwin is a favorite of Burrow when Higgins was out earlier. And I don't know. It's kind of like a desperation type of flex play, but you can get away with it this week, I think.
Yeah, that's what a lot of the flex plays are. And running back 2 spots this week are kind of just dart throws with the bye weeks. We're hurting, man. Ton of injuries.
The big thing I really want to take away from is because I know you kind of scratched the question a little bit, but I did prepare, like some things here. Like Jesse Morse on Twitter, Dr. Jesse Morse, go check him out. Sports medicine physician and does injury content over at the Fantasy Doctors. Tweeted that there's a chance that T. Higgins can miss multiple games here. Mm-hmm. He doesn't see him as an IR candidate realistically at this time. And here's the thing. I mean, T. Higgins has only scored double-digit PPR points in 3 of his last 7 games.
He's had a rough year, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a rough year. I mean, and he's kind of getting into this hamstring injury where it's possible he can miss multiple games. So, you're going to have to hold him and hopefully, just hope that he comes back, kind of healthy off of that hamstring to help, in a playoff push.
It definitely sucks because this offense, and this offense just started rolling too. And now it's, it's not ideal losing him.
Which is why I always say Tyler Boyd is one of the best wide receiver handcuffs out there.
Yeah, no, you ain't kidding there. But still firing Burrow up this week with Higgins out still.
Oh, yes. Yeah. You're still firing him up.
All right.
What's up, Connor?
Hey, Connor.
It's nice of you to join us, man.
Yes, sir. Next game, we got the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Deion goes, how about we talk about Deion Sanders in Charlotte, Colorado? Lost their 4th straight game.
Yeah, it's not ideal. They played Arizona tough today, though. And a ranked Arizona team, I want to say as well. But what everybody's talking about, Ike, do we expect Brock Purdy to bounce back in this game against Jacksonville after 2 pretty pedestrian weeks?
It's not great for him this week. He has been turning the ball over quite a lot. I believe
astronomical rate.
6 in the past few games. And he is going against the Jaguars defense, who is tied for the 2nd most interceptions with 11. So that is not good. Plus, they can create pressure pretty well. If Trent Williams is out, I would not start Brock Purdy anywhere. If Trent Williams is in, you can get away with him in super flex leagues for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But look at what Trent Williams is. If he's not playing, then don't.
Is he getting all his weapons back? I'm sorry.
Debo's back? Yeah,
he is back. I think that definitely helps him, man, because when he's got all of these guys, it's just, what is the defense supposed to do? You got Chris McCaffrey, Debo,
but
who are you game planning?
These past 2 games, he's been doing so bad because Trent Williams has been out. They're getting pressure on that side, and and with Josh Allen there for the Jaguars, dude, he's gonna wreak havoc without.
I know Trent. It's silly. It's kind of silly to say this, but part of me, being like the Packers fan I am, like like David Bakhtiari was a great left tackle to have there for a QB and a run game, for the most part. And Aaron Jones was the main cog to that offense, and it would help it run. Would you not say the same for the 49ers with Trent and Christian McCaffrey? Like, if C-Mac's not rolling and Trent's not in, like, they struggle.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
It's a weird comparison, but I mean, it's true, because that's why Kyle Shanahan went out and got CMC last year, is because, like, that's the guy he wants his offense to be on the back of, and, like, Purdy just needs to be a decision maker. And last couple of weeks, he's just not been a good decision maker.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely facts. Looking at
it's going to be a challenge against Jacksonville.
Looking at the Jaguars side of things in the offense, Trevor Lawrence owner has been pretty disappointed this year, and it's pretty much for the fact he's not throwing enough touchdowns, Mike. Is this the
What's
week
up,
we
Jimmy?
finally see positive regression from Trevor Lawrence in the touchdown department?
All right, so he's scoring a touchdown on 3.3% of his passing attempts. Now, league average usually hovers around 4.5%.
What's his career at, though?
I mean, I got these stats premeditated. I'm just supposed to get that just like right on the spot. Like, it's probably not good considering he had to deal with Urban Meyer.
4.5% to 3.3% is not good, though, right? I'm just checking.
It's not. No, it's not. That's a tremendous jump. So, like, just for example, like, I hate to say this, and it actually shocked me when I found it out. But right now, currently, Russell Wilson is leading the league in this statistic, scoring a touchdown on 6.8% of his throws. So more than double Trevor Lawrence. All right. And the thing is they're throwing around the same amount of passing attempts. All right. Realistically, I think it was like 271 for Trevor and 250, 260 something for Russ, man. And then you look at somebody like Tua, who's really hot right now, leading the league in touchdowns. He's got 19. He's at a 6.1%. All right. And then you look at somebody like Mahomes. Awesome stud. You're starting him any day of the week, as long as he's starting him like this week with his bye, 5% on the year. So like Lawrence has been absolutely underwhelming in the touchdown category, and like regression says it's gonna come back here. But I'm gonna be honest. I'm always gonna be honest, especially on camera. I don't think it's gonna happen. Like the Jags are 6-2 right now, tied for third best record in the NFL. The
defense is really good.
On fire.
Mm-hmm.
He's 17th in passing attempts for all QBs. They don't need him to do anything more than what he's doing right now. ETN's been killing it in the red zone. Like that's their one bugaboo is they've been struggling in the red zone.
Yeah.
All right. But what do you do when you struggle in the red zone? Look at the Eagles. They're running the ball. I mean, you look at the Chiefs. You struggle in the red zone. You run the ball. They're going to run the ball in the red zone where ETN's going to probably be the benefactor of most of the touchdowns, the rest of the season, unfortunately. So, like, realistically, I'd put it like 60-40, not in favor of Lawrence.
Yeah, it's definitely because of that damn Travis Etienne, that damn Sasquatch.
Well, it's the defense, too.
Defense turning the ball over a lot.
Yep.
And just like Doug Peterson's offense doesn't require Trevor Lawrence to throw it.
Would you rather start Calvin Ridley or Deebo Samuel this week?
Calvin.
Only because I'm afraid Deebo could re-injure something.
And then I still don't know about
you
Trent
can throw on the Niners. You can throw on the Niners too.
Plus Ayuk is the alpha anyway, so.
You say that, but where has he been the past couple weeks?
He had like 5 for 100 last week.
Doing his thing, Michael Plant. Doing his
Just
thing.
being a steady wide receiver 3 flex play, man.
The next game.
That's an alpha, huh? A wide receiver 3?
In that offense, yeah.
The next matchup we got is the New Orleans Saints taking on the Minnesota Vikings. I can't believe we're here again. I mean, I could believe it.
This 100% is a better game with Josh Dobbs. Hands down.
Yeah, definitely. What I'm talking about is Taysom Hill a top 6 tight end this week and the rest of season? You can't even scoff at that right now.
I wouldn't say rest of season. No.
Good thing I'm not answering. Good thing I'm not asking you the question.
That's all I'll say. Go ahead.
Dude, top 6 is so hard to say because you've got at least
let's count
Kelsey.
Yep.
Andrews.
Yep.
Laporta. Kincaid. I'd put top 6. Hawkinson.
That's 5.
I'd probably put David Njoku.
No, I'd put Taysom Hill over Njoku.
No, I'd put Njoku now that Deshaun Watson's
he is
back.
right there. It's insane.
But just let me just say a few things here.
Would you put
when
Evan
he's
Ingram?
been giving this type of work, he is tight end 2 in fantasy points per game at 18, which is only 0.4 off from Kelsey. And he's seeing around 12 touches per game for a tight end. That is just bonkers. That's just
not
weird.
Tight end touches though. That's the.
I don't care. But he is tight end, so he could throw the ball a touchdown. What if he throws a 50-yard touchdown? There's 11 points right there. You just got a tight end.
But these are what ifs. These are what ifs.
But it can happen.
He's
Mike, but what comes down with Taysom Hill right now is that he is red zone daddy. Every time they get in the red zone, their offense runs through him, whether he's throwing for it, whether he's catching it, or whether he's just running over people into the end zone. Like
you have those guys we named, he's a must start every week until
like anywhere past Evan
dipping.
Ingram. you're starting the other player over Taysom Hill. Like Evan Ingram's the cutoff point where like I will start Evan Ingram over Taysom Hill, but it's very close.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yes,
Yeah, because he is getting 8+ targets a game. So yeah, I can see that.
Like it's Njoku and Ingram is kind of like that threshold where I'm like, all right, if I have these two, I will safely put in these two. But if I like had a game where I'm going against Deontay Foreman this week, who scored the only offensive touchdown in that Thursday night game. Yeah, give me Taysom Hill for a higher ceiling, but don't be surprised if he doesn't.
Off topic though.
Yeah.
How about Njoku turning his season completely around? Like I think it was like just 2 or 3 weeks ago, people were like, "Oh, drop him. He's useless, not getting the work or whatever." And now he's
when he got attacked by the fire in his backyard. Yeah, he's really he's figured it out since then.
He's a beast, man. Yeah, he's a beast.
He's an athletic freak, man. He
needs to get the ball a lot.
Yeah. Let's answer Brandon's question real quick though. Tank Dell or Devontae Adams this week?
I hate to say it, but it's Tank Dell.
Who the Raiders play?
Jets.
Oh boy, yeah. Oh god, Tank Dell. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's definitely Tank Dell.
God, that sucks to say.
We'll talk about Devontae later.
Yes,
when we talk about the primetime game, because for some reason we have Zach Wilson and Aiden O'Connell on a Sunday night or Monday night game.
That's great.
It's fun.
I think it is. The
Monday night is Bills and somebody. Broncos. Maybe.
And then let me throw this one at you guys. With 4 teams on bye, 4 good quarterbacks, is Derek Carr someone that we can look at in this matchup, or does Taysom Hill? Taysom Hill? Does it nerf Derek Carr's fantasy production?
His ceiling for sure.
Moving forward. Good answer.
He's got a floor. I mean, he's still a starting quarterback. Like the thing is he's going to get snaps, and it's only like half of the time Taysom Hill's coming in the red zone. So like,
real quick, Michael Thomas is going to be gone probably. Yeah.
He got arrested. They
gotta go over the all the details to it and whatnot. But it don't
going on in New Orleans, man.
He's top 5 weird guy.
Alvin Kamara 2 years ago, I think. Chris Olave 2 weeks ago just got arrested, and now Michael Thomas is throwing bricks at people's heads and shit or whatever he just did.
We don't know all the facts, so don't jump to conclusions.
Get out of my driveway.
Looking at the Vikings side of things, and what a ride it was for Vikings fans last week, and what a ride it is for Josh Dobbs. Just to think about living in a life in Josh Dobbs' shoes right now. The guy's a goddamn rocket scientist.
He's traded to the best story of the year so far.
He gets traded to Arizona 10 minutes before the season starts.
And was told he wasn't going to. Did you see that shit? He was told straight up, eye contact by Jonathan Gannon, hey, you're going to be a Cardinal for the rest of the year. And then his agent calls up, hey, it's trade deadline day. You might get traded. Josh Dobbs is like, what the fuck?
That's fantastic.
I'd rather go to the Vikings anyways.
But Mike, are you encouraged for the Vikings weapons with what we saw from Dobbs last week?
Yes, much more encouraging than Jaren Hall, and it's nothing against Jaren Hall because Jaren Hall
against Jaren Hall. Yep.
Well, no,
he didn't have his time to shine, Dylan.
He started all right. Yeah, he started all right. It's just it was unfortunate with the concussion.
He got popped within like 5 minutes, and just
there's a reason
he wasn't built for it.
But yeah, so like it was nothing against Jaren Hall. It's just Josh Dobbs has more reps. I mean, 8 games with the Cardinals. I mean, here's the biggest thing, and this is why I love Josh Dobbs so much. He defeated Arthur Smith on literally no days of practice, pretty much, not knowing his teammates' names. He was practicing his cadence with the old lineman literally before he went into the game. All right. Kevin O'Connell is telling and breaking down the play in the helmet microphone until the play clock's hit 15 where it gets cut off, and Dobbs is just working from that. And he defeats Arthur Smith, scores 31 straight points. All right. Get Arthur Smith's ass out of there. He doesn't deserve to be a coach.
I was going to say, you're definitely 100% late to the party on Arthur Smith, by the way.
No, I'm not the only one, though. It's like, what else do we need to see from Arthur Smith before they finally go, he's probably not a good coach?
The problem
is he needs to keep losing more.
Yeah, I was going to say that he
just lost to a guy who on 3 days of practice just got.
What is he, 4-6, though? 4-5?
Like, come on.
His last
3 seasons, he's been in the top 10 pick for a draft. All right, and he's not using him. He's utilizing all of them. So like, that's my rant. I'm done.
No, it's gonna get worse when Bijan comes up because I'm gonna shit on him.
Go ahead. It's not his fault. You know it.
I don't care if it's not his fault. We knew what Arthur Smith was, and you. Well, wait, we'll go later.
But yeah, I'm much more confident in this offense. I mean, Dobbs made the Cardinals offense way more relevant than we ever thought the Cardinals would even be this year. So like, he's gonna give everybody about 3/4 of what you'd see from Kirk Cousins if Kirk Cousins was still there.
Yeah, that's fair. Next game, we got the Green Bay Packers taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Christian Watson is banged up, and man, oh man, is this offense looked not stellar to be to put it nicely.
No.
If Watson is out, like, does that mean wheels up for Romeo Doubs and Jaden Reed, or are you just looking elsewhere?
No, we should be looking elsewhere. There's only one guy we want to start in this offense. His name is Aaron Jones. I literally can't. I can't trust Jordan Love to save my life, dude.
I don't want
to hear it. Not yet. We've had this discussion before.
Well, I wasn't talking about Jordan. I wanted to ask you, who would you rather play, Romeo Doubs or Demario Douglas? Do you trust
Demario
Mac
Douglas
Jones more? You trust
10
Mac
times
Jones
out of 10.
more? Okay, you trust Mac Jones. That's what I wanted to know.
Since their bye week, no pass catcher has caught more than 5 balls or more. And the best performance during that was a dude named Dontravarian Wicks, who had 4 for 49. Or you can say Musgrave had a good game when he had 3 for 51 and a touchdown. But that's what you're looking at. And I don't like it. I don't like Jordan Love, who can't throw the ball 10 yards past the field. It's 30%. I can do that. Maybe.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
I'll break my ankle.
When you got NFL fucking pass rushers coming at you, no fucking chance you're throwing the ball 10 yards and completing more than 33%.
Anyways, leave everybody on this team on the bench except for Aaron Jones.
That is fair. Yeah, we're at the point where we're not even really wanting to start Christian Watson if he is available in this.
And you're downgrading Aaron Jones too, as well. It's pretty much a volume play for the most part for Jones at this point.
With how bad running backs are, you just kind of have to, based on name alone, I guess.
Then looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers side of things, I feel like I've just been asking the two same questions here all season. It's either Najee or Jaylen Warren, which would you rather have? And now we've changed to who would you rather have? George Pickens, who's just going to throw a temper tantrum every game he doesn't get targets, or Deontay Johnson?
Man, and the Steelers are good at these, diva wide receivers holding them down for the most part. But apparently George Pickens is just too much. But it's Deontay Johnson easily. The 3 games back, he's sporting a solid 11.5 targets a game. Like, we're talking with the likes of Tyreek Hill at third most the past 3 games, behind only Garrett Wilson and CeeDee Lamb.
Question for later.
He's back to dominating the target share for Pittsburgh as far as the wide receivers go. Like, just in the past 3 games, like 11.9% more of the targets are going Johnson's way over Pickens. So unfortunately Pickens is, and we all saw it coming, but Pickens is back to a boom bust flex option.
No wonder why he's pissed.
He's probably got himself in fantasy.
Where's all my targets, man?
We've kind of just been beating the dead horse. This offense just can't get going until it's late in the 4th quarter, where Kenny Pickett just puts his big boy pants on and just starts sending it, man. It's really super weird. And Pickett just can't throw.
Pickett just Matt Canada.
But Pickett has it. At some point, you got to throw more than 1 touchdown in a game, man. For your receivers.
Now when you got that defense and that 1 touchdown is the one to take the lead in the 4th.
It is every damn time.
But that's classic Steeler football, I feel like, or at least in a young quarterback's career.
Yeah, and everybody loves Kenny Pickett too in that offense. Like, they are 100% bought into him, and they don't even care that he sucks for the 3 quarters because he seems to always come out on top in the 4th.
They should probably draft a quarterback, but they're gonna be too late.
They're not going to.
Can you draft an offensive coordinator too?
That'll be interesting, man.
That'd be sweet.
They probably won't replace
Lincoln Riley. Come on over.
If they keep winning games either, are they really going to change things? So that's definitely interesting. They're definitely going to just keep winning ugly, and I would expect them to win this ugly game too.
Because Steelers defense, though, I'd be so pissed and I'd be taking it out on them in practice.
No, they dig him, man.
Do better.
No, they dig him. They dig him. But yeah, this game's gonna be gross. Some pretty weird quarterback play in that one between the Packers and Steelers.
It might be like the Rams game where it was like 20-9, but maybe
Watch
more
it be
like
a shootout for no
14
reason.
to 9.
I hope so. Give me a
That'd be
shootout. Give me a
fantastic.
shootout out of that one. Like blow the over/under out of the water in the first half or something, man. Give me some of that. Next game, we got the Tennessee Titans taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Weird question here, Ike. If you had to play DeAndre Hopkins or Mike Evans, who would you start?
Well, I have Hopkins rated high or ranked higher by one spot. So I got to go Hopkins here. Past 5 games, Evans only has 2 wide receiver 2 or better finishes. During that same time, DeAndre Hopkins has 2 wide receiver 1 finishes. So, I mean, he is clearly
3 touchdowns will do that for you.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Levis or Levis, however you say it. He's clearly the number one option for Hopkins is the number one option for him.
It's Mayo, man.
So, Evans is back to boom bust. I think Godwin's starting to take more of the targets away. Plus Rashad White. Baker loves throwing to the running back too, so he's taking away targets from him. But yeah, I'm going Hopkins here.
I'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, that's fair. Just talk about it right now, Mike. With what we've seen from Rashad White in the past few games, is that sustainable?
I mean, at this rate, yeah. If they keep using him in the passing game, like he has 34 targets on the year, tied for 10th with Alexander Madison. Yeah, that's gross being in the same breath as Alexander Madison. But here's the unique thing, and we knew this from Rashad White coming out of college, but he's caught 33 of those 34 targets. Literally only not caught 1. All right, he's the only running back with 18 plus targets on the year that's only dropped 1. All right, so the man is like the definition of a safety valve for Baker right now, and that's probably why he keeps dumping it off to him. It's an automatic 2-3 yards at least. All right, now here's the funny
only run game they got.
Pretty much, it is their run game. It's like Packers back in the day when they didn't have a run game. They just dump it off, do some screens, just to get the defense to come up so you can take a couple deep shots later in the game. But the funny thing is with Rashad White, like 34 of those targets on the year, half of them have come just in the last 3 games. All right, so they have finally unlocked him and actually know how to use him now, and it's working because they're actually looking a little bit more competent now. So, yeah, it is sustainable.
It's helping for Baker.
Yeah. Here's the thing. You want an offense to stay on the field, and sustain drives. How do you do that? You get every yard possible.
Especially when the running game don't work.
Especially, yes. Yep.
Yeah, it definitely helps. You just wish Tampa Bay would win a little bit more games. So hopefully they keep doing what they're doing, But
because you don't want them to have a top pick, so they take away a quarterback from you guys. Or Marvin Harrison?
No, because if they're not winning games, they're going to change the game plan, and they haven't been winning games. So yeah, that's.
I want Marvin Harrison so bad on the Bears.
The thing is though, and I think you guys can maybe agree with me at least maybe halfway. Is like the reason they're losing games though is because of their defense lately.
Doesn't help.
Their defense has not been great.
Yeah, their defense isn't great,
and their offensive line isn't great, which also could be to the point why Baker's dumping it off all the time because he's just got to get the ball out of his hands, But look, jumping into the afternoon games, we got Michael Plant's favorite team, the Atlanta Falcons, taking on the Arizona
Not my
Cardinals.
favorite coach, though.
Ike, what is the panic meter of Bijan owners, and is it time to get out, maybe try to sell from underneath him? It's getting a little sketchy.
All right, so I'm just going to say some stuff here and then let LaPlante ask what his panic is here. So, because I don't have him anywhere. I thought his draft capital was a little bit too high as an RB3, which he has never finished as this year. His highest finish was an RB7. He's barely used in the red zone, 35th in
Captain Obvious.
He has like 1 goal line carry, and he hasn't finished as an RB1 since week 4. Again, it's not because he isn't talented. He is super talented. All of his metrics are literally top 10, like juke rate, breakaway, runway, all that. But Arthur Smith doesn't like using them, which we should have known this by now with how he treated Kyle Pitts last year. You should have gotten a hint that maybe this is a little bit too high draft capital for a dude who probably get used very much.
But that's the thing, just real quick, like history has shown a top 10 NFL drafted running back typically just gets pounded into the ground when they get drafted, and that's why his ADP was up as high as it was.
For sure. But
Granted, 3 is a astronomically high. I get that, but like history has proven, even with fucking Trent Richardson, he was an RB1 with the workload he got when he was a rookie. But go on, Ike.
But
we shouldn't have taken him over the likes of Derrick Henry.
Can I say something real quick though? When was the last time a running back was drafted that high on a team that just had 1,000-yard rusher the year prior? That's the part that we were missing. Like, why would Arthur Smith?
Yeah, like why?
Why did we do this? Why would Arthur Smith just go completely away from Tyler Algier? I get it, the draft capital. That would be the reason. But why would you not want to use both of these guys?
Why would you draft a running back in the top 10?
That's not what we're asking. That's not the point, Mike. Mike, that's not the point. But when you have both of these guys on the roster, when you have both of them, why would you not use both of them?
You use both of them, but you use the better one. And all statistics point towards Bijan being the better one. Like Arthur Smith actually came out in a press conference and straight up said, Tyler Algier is one of the best goal line backs we have in the league. Bullshit. I got the stats right here. Short yardage rushing, 3 or fewer yards stats. All right. Courtesy
was that on the goal line?
Doesn't matter. He said short yardage.
Oh.
He said he was the best short yardage, one of the best short yardage backs in the league, which is just asinine that he would even say that because rushes. Tyler Algier has 23 to Bijan's 17 in short rush attempts. Yards per attempt, Bijan 5.7, Tyler Algier 2.3. Success rate, Bijan Robinson 65% to Algier's 57%. Robinson has clearly been more effective option for Atlanta at covering short yardage runs, and it's not just short yardage runs. Like Bijan on the year is averaging 5 yards a carry, where Tyler's averaging 3.2.
Yeah, we're not saying he's not.
Every statistical measure points towards Bijan being better, but Arthur Smith is just straight up lying to us and saying, you know what, Algier is better. Because he doesn't give a fuck.
I don't
think
he
maybe
said
they want to
Algier
salvage the running back's career so you can use him a little bit instead of just destroy him his first year.
In a league that does not even value running backs correctly, you're going to make that excuse?
Arthur Smith had Derrick Henry before this. Maybe he treated Derrick Henry like this his first year. Derrick Henry wasn't like this his first few years.
Attempts. And that was because DeMarco Murray was there. Would you agree that DeMarco Murray is a better running back than Tyler Algier?
I don't. I honestly don't. I was going to say I honestly don't know because
Murray was a 1,000-yard rusher at least 3 seasons with the Cowboys.
Right,
that's fine, but still a 1,000-yard rusher.
The problem is you're totally poo-pooing Tyler Algier like he's not good at all and shouldn't have a role in the offense.
No, I'm not.
That's
saying
where you're
that.
wrong.
It may come off like that. And right now, Tyler Algier is a flex play. Bijan Robinson is RB2 at this point, until he gets more volume. But the thing is it's like the Jared Hall versus Joshua Dobbs. It's nothing against Algier. It's just Bijan is better. And the volume is dictating and telling us that Arthur Smith thinks that Tyler Algier is better, which just is not statistically correct. And the eye test is saying it's not correct as well.
I honestly don't think that Arthur Smith thinks Tyler Algier is better than Bijan.
Then why is he saying it?
Because I don't think he even said that. I think Arthur Smith thinks that he has a better chance of scoring a touchdown at the goal line with Tyler Algier than Bijan Robinson.
Thank you,
I don't
Angelo.
know if that's wrong.
I agree. He should be coaching in the CFL or he should be an offensive coordinator.
Like I said, you guys are all late to the party. I was doing rants on Arthur Smith last year in the middle of the season with the Cubs.
Well, I understand that, but now it's
like you did Derrick Henry when he started his career.
It's not that I'm late to the party because I was in on Pitts too. The thing is this, it's not like it's just a write-off one season like Urban Meyer or Nathaniel Hackett. This is now 3 straight fucking seasons of doing this. It's a pattern at this point.
Then why draft him at RB3 then? Why are we
Terrible management. Terrible management.
No, we us as an industry blew that. With him being drafted as RB3, that was my point going back to it.
You had at least 6 plus
we got
scenarios
where
running backs drafted in the top 10 finished
Mike,
as an RB1,
but none of them. But they didn't.
Arthur Smith is going to be the one anomaly.
Mike, but those teams didn't have another 1,000-yard rusher on them. That's the problem, and that's the point that I was trying to make. But we should probably move on to the Cardinals side of things because we've probably spent 5-6 minutes. It was a good conversation, though. It really was.
Yeah, do you really want to talk about the Cardinals, though?
Yeah, I do because
Yeah,
it's kind
Kyler's
of
back,
important.
dude.
Yeah, we got to talk about Kyler here and Call of Duty coming out yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever it was. Do you expect
he's playing that.
Do you expect Kyler to be a top 12 guy this week in his return?
I'm sorry, Angelo. I love your comments here. I live in Atlanta. I have to wear a bag on my head to work. But back to Kyler Murray. I think he's a borderline QB1 this week, but I'm a little bit more pessimistic than everybody else is with Kyler Murray because I think he finishes more around like QB 13, 16 in that range. If he can scramble comfortably, I mean, this is where he's going to make his value. The O-line for the Cardinals is just middle of the pack at 16 per Pro Football Network. This was November 1st, so 10 days ago. Excuse me. So, like, it's just middle of the pack. It's not the best. It's not the worst. So, like, he's going to have to scramble if he wants to sustain drives. And here's the thing. He's provided a good chunk of his fantasy value from running the ball. He's got 2,204 career rushing yards. That's 29th all-time for QBs, and he's only been in the league for 4 years. All right, so here's the thing that I actually found kind of cool and also scary at the same time because he's coming off the ACL injury. 21% of his career touchdowns are rushing touchdowns, 23 to 84. So basically every time he passes 4 touchdowns, he's at least getting 1 rushing touchdown. So if those legs aren't working, at least up to par coming off of the ACL injury, then I'm a little worried. All right.
Yeah, I'm not 100% back in on Kyler this week. He's got to show me. Atlanta's defense isn't necessarily a pushover either. They're not great. They're probably middle.
I mean, Dobbs made him look like a pushover.
Yeah, he did a little bit in the second half for sure.
Because he's a rocket scientist.
That damn rocket scientist, man. But how high would you have Hollywood ranked now with Kyler back this week?
So here's the thing. He was a wide receiver 2 with 8 games of Dobbs. All right, much better than we expected. So, I mean, and he had 1 game with Clayton Tune. So he's a borderline wide receiver 1 if Kyler could return just to 3/4 of himself.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. I agree with that. Next game, we got the Detroit Lions taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Good game here. Good, fun game. This will definitely
I like arguing with you fuckers.
Like, how do you feel about Jahmyr Gibbs with Monty coming back this week? RB3 territory again, or is he still top 15, top 20, top 12-ish fella?
I don't like that you actually gave me a pretty hard question here because
he had to think.
This is one of those you have to see how it goes.
So you can get some more blood flow.
Maybe, yeah. This game where you have to see how it goes at first, but there's no chance you just push Jahmyr Gibbs aside. He's been very explosive. He's looked very well. I think they're both RB2s because I think it hurts Dave Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs a little bit. But Montgomery should get the goal line touches, I expect, and then Gibbs is the home run hitter, and both will get receptions.
Yeah, I
With
like
how bad RBs are now, I easily can see them both around 15 to 20. One might be top 12 if they score multiple times.
Yep. It's just Jahmyr Gibbs' ceiling's just capped now with Monty coming back. You won't see him be getting those 20-plus touches a week anymore. That's just not going to happen.
That's the floor, not the ceiling, really. I mean, at that point, if he's not getting 20 rushing attempts, that's the floor. The floor just takes a big hit. Obviously,
I would rather have Gibbs. I don't know about you guys, Gibbs or Montgomery. I'd rather have
Gibbs.
I think he's more explosive.
Really? Well,
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about that. Like, I give a shit who's going to score more fantasy points, and that's been David Montgomery when both of these guys have been on the field.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson.
That was before Jahmyr Gibbs showed he just dropped, 200 yards 2 weeks ago.
I mean, maybe Dan Campbell cares, but I don't know that he does. I think Dave Montgomery looks like a kneecap biter, man. I think if
it goes back to Dave Montgomery getting 25, 30 carries and Gibbs getting 10, then you can basically say Gibbs is a flex.
Welcome to the life of a Bijan owner.
No, that's not even comparable.
I mean, we just saw Jahmyr Gibbs be the more talented back. Did you not just say that? All right.
Yeah, he is.
He deserves more touches.
Bijan is still getting top 10 in opportunities, though.
No, he ain't.
Yeah, he is.
He's getting RB2 opportunities at this point. The past couple games.
Look it up, man. He's still getting a lot of opportunities.
He can't look it up.
He's not getting the touchdowns. He's not getting any touchdowns. Yeah. And in the past 3 games, it doesn't help that he's gotten 3 targets or 4, whatever it is.
Then how can you
And he
say
de-
he's getting
dealt
top
with
10
headaches.
touches?
One game he dealt with headaches, man. He didn't. He played
Supposedly,
Percy
because he
Harvin
came in
migraine.
for the last drive of the fucking game. If he had headaches, why are you fucking saving him for the last drive of the game? That makes
Keeping
no
him fresh,
sense.
man.
He had headaches. Why are you even playing him? That's bad fucking.
Keep him on his
coaching.
toes.
Yes. Looking at the Chargers side of things, Mike, is Quentin Johnston ever going to be a thing this season, or is just got to give away all hope? At this point, he might not ever be a thing ever. But
I mean, I'm gonna give you. Here's the thing: not this week. He ain't gonna be a thing unless it's a long touchdown type of day for him. After getting bent over a barrel by that Ravens offense in week 7 by the Lions. Yeah, I really did mean it. They got bent over a barrel by that offense.
Take it easy.
They did. Straight up, that Lions defense was stout, and they were
Stop using horrible bosses lines.
That was the first one, you asshole. But then the next week, the Lions defense in week 8 only allowed Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers and all other fucking Raiders receivers. I saw it was Hunter Renfrow pretty much to a combined total of 8.9 PPR points that following week. So, like, I think this Lions defense is back, up to the standard they want to play, the kneecap biting defense that Dan Campbell loves. So, like, I'm very temperamental on Quentin Johnston. Like, because of the bye weeks, you can get away with throwing him in the flex.
No, you can't.
No, I mean, don't have much optimism, though. It's because of the bye weeks. That's the reason why.
No.
The bye weeks, he's worth a.
I'd rather play DeMario Douglas.
I'd rather play.
He's a wide receiver 3 right now.
I'd rather play Antonio Gibson.
He's a wide receiver 3 when you have this many teams on bye. And no, I would not rather play Antonio Gibson.
I mean, that's fair too, but
nobody wants to play Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, but Quentin Johnston's real gross, and it's
not gross, and it's not going to be this week.
Oh man, I wish I saved the thing on Twitter. He was in the same category as 2 other wide receivers. I don't know what it was. Kelvin Benjamin and some other cat.
He 100% could be a bust, and
I agree.
If he hasn't broke out with Justin Herbert as his quarterback already, it definitely
he had to deal with Mike. He had to
deal with Mike Williams
Josh Palmer first.
But they've been out now. Mike Williams has been out for 6 weeks. Josh Palmer's been banged up for a couple weeks as well, and we still haven't seen Dick.
Can we just say what Justin Herbert is? It's either Keenan Allen or he's dumping it off to Austin Eckler. That's basically what he does.
He's still
that's
a
what it is.
Stud doing it, and he's still a fucking stud doing it though.
Yeah, he's fine, but still, that's just what he is.
He's a stud for fantasy purposes. We're still not sure if he's a stud in NFL purposes because he doesn't win games yet. But that is something we see. Mike,
his coach and the defense don't help. But yes, go on.
Agreed.
That's true.
More so the coach.
Do you expect him to bounce back against a good solid Lions defense after Herbert? Let's be real.
Said it. Yeah, I just said it. Like, it's going to be a tough day at the office for Herbert.
Pretty much every week.
It's going to be a tough day at the office, but you start your studs. Like, here's the thing: there are only 3 other quarterbacks averaging more fantasy points a game than him: Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and the rookie CJ Stroud. So, and no, let's be honest, that fucking game last week is the reason he's ahead of Herbert. Otherwise, it would be Herbert at 3 right now.
He's one of the quarterbacks that have
he's one of the safest floors.
Like 80%, maybe even more of top 12 quarterback. I think he's only finished not outside top 12 once or twice.
Sure. Yeah, he's just super safe right now. It's just his ceiling's a little capped because the offense struggles in the red zone for some reason with Kellen Moore.
Yeah, it shouldn't be happening.
We got a couple questions here, guys. Let's answer this real quick. Purdy, Howell, or Trevor Lawrence this week?
We actually had one before that too, but yes, go ahead. This one is Howell for me. I'm sorry, I got Howell, right? Yeah, I got Howell
Seahawks
and T-Law in the league, and I'm playing Howell over T-Law.
I don't Howell's getting sacked at an incredible rate, and Seahawks can get to the quarterback pretty well now for some reason.
And it's in Seattle.
But he throws a lot, man. So you gotta take that volume.
That's the reason why, though. There's only one more quarterback throwing that has more passing yards on the season than him, and that's Tua. Otherwise, he has the most passing attempts on the year. So, like, he's just throwing at such a high rate. Like, he's a great streamer option.
I would look at
incredible rate
for Purdy. If Trent Williams is in, you can think about it.
Yeah, like Purdy's a good streamer option. Like we thought T-Law was going to be the lock and load guy this year, but obviously he's kind of fallen into the streamer category too. So like all three of these guys are streamers, and right now the best one is Howell, in my opinion.
I'm still going Howell, even though he expects some sacks if you're in that type of league.
I'm not gonna do it, guys. I can't do Howell. I really dislike the matchup in Seattle. Young quarterback, bad offensive line. I think I just laid Trevor Lawrence. I think is where I would go there.
What if Trent Williams is in? Would you rather have Purdy?
I still have Howell.
Yeah.
Gino or Russ?
Seattle. Gino.
It's Gino. It's Gino in this one. I mean, Russ has a decent matchup against the Bills where I'll probably have to throw a lot. It's just like he is a regression candidate to not get touchdowns moving forward. So
and everybody torches Washington except for Mac Jones.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's Gino.
Yeah, I forgot about that. We'll get Mike. We'll get in that later when you guys talk about.
We had another question before Bob Dole. We go to that.
Where's it at? I'm not.
What will Debo bring to the table for me? I have Christian Kirk and Addison and Lockett and Hopkins. Is he going to outperform? Like basically, it's like Debo worth starting over Christian Kirk. Addison,
you should be
Lockett,
starting DeAndre Hopkins.
The only person I would start Debo over there is Tyler Lockett.
I agree,
and I don't.
I disagree on that one because I'll get to it later, but I actually like Lockett this week.
That's fair.
Okay, so then don't start Debo.
I'm also okay.
I probably wouldn't be starting Debo. I probably wouldn't be starting.
That's where you can't agree on that.
All right, but go to that other one. You said he needs two. So yeah,
I think that's the same question. Yeah. Yep.
Hey, thank you for rewording it, Bob Dole. We appreciate it.
I want Hopkins no matter what.
We got some more as well, guys. Just a friendly reminder, too. The Start Sit show is tomorrow on Sunday, the Sunday Social, starting at 10:30 Eastern time. So make sure to tune in the channel as well for that. And we'll answer all your questions there as well. But, of course, we'll keep answering them here. Lamar Jackson or C.J. Stroud? I think it's Lamar Jackson. The stat with about Stroud struggling on the road. I think you give me Lamar there with the safety with his legs.
Yeah, he's already killed the Browns once. So yeah, go Lamar Jackson. You start your stud in that one, even though Stroud is kind of a stud right now.
Love it, Bob. Can't wait to see you tomorrow too, my friend. Then we got Dion. We know Dion will be there tomorrow as well.
This one's easy.
Heard Ferguson, Taysom Hill, or Jonnu Smith.
Taysom.
That one's Taysom Hill. Yep.
I hate it, but it's Taysom.
Yes, sir. Jumping back into things, we got
that's that tight end range where it's just like fuck it, play Taysom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. We got the Tommy DeVito led New York Giants taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Like, can Saquon produce this week? Or are you worried with him being just the one guy in this offense that can make plays?
You should temper your expectations. Don't expect a huge breakout game probably, but he's still seeing 20 plus touches a game. He has scored at least 13 or more fantasy points when healthy. It's good enough for me. For running back 2 fringe area, you should start him, but don't be expecting anything crazy. And I don't think this offense against this team is going to do much.
Saquon or Tony Pollard, who we're about ready to talk about with Mike?
Tony Pollard. I know Giants give up a lot of rush yards.
Mike, is this the game where we finally see Tony Pollard break out?
I want to first say I'd still take Saquon safer, but this should be the game. I mean, I'm not going to say should. I mean, this has to be the game he breaks out again because this was, I mean, his best game of the year was week 1 against the Giants where he scored, I lost it. Here it is. Where he scored 22.2 fantasy points. It's not a script, it's my stats. He finished his RB5 week 1 against the Giants. So like it was literally his best matchup of the year. So like he has to break out again. Otherwise, if he doesn't, he's just gonna be a kind of a low end RB1, because he gets the volume there, because literally he is the only one there.
Mm-hmm. Tommy Rico ain't the guy.
Like he's 3 times the amount of snaps more than the next guy, which is Rico Dowdle. And then 3 times as many touches as the next guy, which is also Rico. So like it has to be the week. The Giants allow the 5th most rushing yards to running backs this year so far. Allow the 4th best yards per attempt at 4.6. Like God, please, Tony Pollard. I don't even own you in very many places, but please go off.
Yeah, that I hear you. That would be nice to see something from Tony Pollard, just because he's been another guy who's just disappointed this season. And then, Mike, I just want to touch on another guy
because
who's
you drafted him so high, just like
Yeah.
Bijan.
Yeah, you had guys in the industry telling you he's gonna finish as RB1 and stuff. Won't name names, but yeah.
He can't always be right.
No, he definitely can't always be right. That's why I didn't want to name names, throw him under the bus. But Mike, I want to
Unless
touch
it's
on
you two, I'll throw you two under the bus.
I want to touch on Brandon Cooks here just for a minute. The prior 2 games he played, he finished as the top 22 wide receiver, catching touchdowns in back-to-back weeks. Last week he was quiet with just the 1 catch for 7 yards. Is he someone you could plug in if you're hurting this week with buys and injuries, or would you rather look elsewhere as like a Jahan Dotson type guy now? Let's say. Well,
I'd still play. I'd still play. What about Demario Douglas?
What about Brandon Cooks or Quentin Johnston? Let's go with that one.
Oh God, Brandon Cooks.
I mean, man, that one's a tough one. Give me a second here.
I think Demario Douglas would be Demario Douglas over Brandon Cooks. I think we could agree on that, guys, right? Or would you guys lean Brandon Cooks there?
Honestly, I don't like either.
I'd go Demarius Douglas over Brandon Cooks because here's the thing. Brandon Cooks the last 3 games only has 10 targets. Like he has 2 touchdowns out of those 10 targets. That's literally a 20% touchdown rate off of his last.
That's what happens when you throw to CD 30 freaking times in 2 weeks.
I love it.
37 in the past 3 games.
Feed the man.
So like, I mean, between Demario Douglas and Brandon Cooks, I'm playing Demario Douglas, but Quentin Johnston, what's his?
I don't know why.
I mean,
he's
got 11 targets. He's got 11 targets the past 3 games. So like, they're pretty much even. It's just the only thing separating it is the 2 touchdowns. So it's like,
yeah.
I mean, the better offense right now is the Cowboys. Would you say, right? So I guess I would lean Brandon Cooks then, and Johnston and Brandon Cooks.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. I just wanted to touch on that. I'm sure people have looked at Brandon Cooks this week on their waiver wire and just curious on things. So want to bring that up.
He's touchdown dependent.
Yeah. Looking at the next game, we got the Washington Commanders taking on the Seattle Seahawks. And we do got a bunch of questions. Mike, good call. We should just answer some. Might as well do it. Cortland Sutton or Devontae Adams? Still Devontae Adams for me over Cortland Sutton.
That one's closer than you'd like to think, but yeah, it's Devontae Adams.
Hope for the best.
Yep. McLaurin, Metcalf, Olave, Monty, PPR, and why is the right answer DK? It's not DK. It is DK.
He plays Washington, so you got to hope for that.
What is that's the problem? Who do you say?
He's injured though. He's injured though.
He's healthy. He should be healthy for Sunday. He doesn't have an injury designation, at least on ESPN.
Super C and B challengers, man. This is a tough one, man. Why you got to throw this one at me?
And Seahawks can be beat through the air too. So honestly, I think I might say Olave, like Clayton just said.
I don't know. Saints play the Vikings. I mean, the thing is if Taysom Hill
again another team that could be destroyed.
If Taysom Hill is going to be involved consistently at the rate he is, I would sit Olave. But if you think Taysom Hill will probably have a down week this week, sit Olave. I mean, sit Metcalf.
That's fair.
Sit Metcalf.
Yeah, I hear that. And then with Metcalf being brought up, Mike, let me just ask you this question first. Then we were talking. Commanders, Seahawks.
Throwing us off.
DK has not finished as a wide receiver 2 since week 4. That's not good, in case anybody was wondering. What?
No.
Let's make a case for him this week, Mike, or make a case against him, whatever way you want to go for this week against this Commanders.
Yeah, what you got for me? I want to see.
So I get the first question then in the Commanders. Seattle?
That's correct. Yep, that's why I asked you.
All right, so just got to make sure here. You're throwing my script off.
Oh, definitely. But we're already talking about it, man, so we're just rolling with it. Let's go.
I love it. You're like, hey, we got to stop and do some questions. We do 1 question and 2 questions, and then we're like, all right, back to the shit. We'll get back to your questions, guys. So DK Metcalf, he only has 1 game over 10 targets this year. All right, he's never been a volume play, but still, we like to see the volume. It's a safety thing for wide receivers. He did finish as a wide receiver 2, 3 out of the first 4 weeks of the year. which is good. I know I didn't really play him that time of the year, which is awesome. So it's satisfying. But since then, he's only finished as a wide receiver 3 once in week 6, and he's missed a game, which availability is your best ability. So take that as you will. And then he's finished as wide receiver 43 or worse the past 2 games. Granted, those past 2 games were tough matchups. Cleveland, second best against wide receivers. Baltimore, 6th best, as I said. So it's a good matchup, but matchups can be a trap, guys. We know this offense likes to run the ball. So it's like, if he busts again this week, because this is the matchup where he should have a good game, but if he busts again, he's a wide receiver 3 rest of the season, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I agree.
Well,
He might even be.
I was going to say, if he busts again, yeah, he might not be someone that I'm willing to start. Yeah, and I even just wide receiver 3. It's just like,
like, fingers crossed, it should be a get right game. Like, Commanders allow the 4th most points to fantasy wide receivers. Like,
they allow a lot of big plays, and this dude is a big play guy. So I mean,
like,
that was his only play last week.
Like I said, he's not a volume play. He's only got 50 targets on the year, which is 41st amongst wide receivers, which is not good.
Which 14 of them came 2 weeks ago.
And I wanted to pull this up that Angelo said in the comments earlier. Rain in Seattle tomorrow, so he's not sure how much, but it's definitely worth watching for Geno in this offense. So,
and like the last 3 games, like you said, 14 definitely jumping up, but like last 3 games, he's seen 27 targets, which is more than half of the targets he's seen on the year. You know, kind of the same with Rachaad White's situation earlier. But the most dramatic thing is he only caught 10 of those 27 targets.
Because he's the deep threat now. That's all it is.
Yep. And that's why I want to talk about Tyler Lockett here. He's going to have a good game, and I actually picked him, guys, for my silly string picks of the week. He's going to score over 10.97 points. Half point.
You're going to get it for a third time.
What do you mean? I'm going to get it like silly strings or not get silly string for a third time?
You're going to get it.
Well, I'm 2 weeks right now. I haven't been silly string. So
now you're going to get it, Bobby.
But guys, if anybody out there, including want to take part in this silly string picks, guys, just tweet at us on Twitter for, at Fantasy Six Pack, hashtag silly string picks. These 2 fucking goons can't hold themselves together on a live show. But don't worry, I'll carry you. But yeah, guys, take part in this. It's fun. I mean, here's the best thing: the people silly stringing you have the most fun, and then all you gotta do is post it on social media. What's so bad about it? We got Howard Bender to do it. Anthony Servano, he was on the show Thursday. For Joe's show. We're gonna get him to do it. I want you 2 pricks to do it. Like, what are you so?
You didn't ask me this week.
I'm not afraid. You
asked me last week. He's like, "Hey, you want to do a silly string?" I'm like, "Sure." And nobody asked me one thing.
You've never heard of your own motivation to do anything?
I picked Deontay.
The guy asked me. They got to come to me.
I picked Deontay Foreman, man. I just forgot to post it on Twitter yesterday.
Sure.
Mine already hit. But Ike, jumping back to you.
You picked the under on Foreman. Sorry.
Jumping back to you. Hopefully Jamie didn't pick Roshan Johnson again because he did. Did he get it?
Not this week. Not last week. He got. I think he picked Roshan. It was 2 weeks before. He actually picked Lockett with me this week.
Ike, looking at this Commanders offense, we're finally seeing Jahan Dotson break out, and he's, everybody in the offseason loved him, and he's finally doing it. Back-to-back top 10 finishes. Is he back into the circle of trust, Fokker?
Circle of trust, Fokker.
Talking is key on this podcast, and I'm not doing a very good job.
I mean, let's just be straight up. Talking is key in life, maybe. I mean,
I would fire him up with confidence. In the past 3 games, he's 13th in targets, which is 8, or targets per game, which is 8.7. Other than that, there's not really much you can say. He seems to finally be taking off in this offense. I'm not really sure what was going on before.
Curtis Samuel's a little banged up now. He's been missing some time.
Taking field goal snaps, he was really bad. Now that he took those field goal snaps, something must have clicked where it's like, oh, that's right.
Ever since that picture surfaced on the Twitter or the X, it's like, now I got to start doing it, or these guys are going to keep making fun of me.
Gotta get my shit together.
Definitely. Let's hit a couple of these questions here before we jump into our night games. Is Calvin Ridley a start tomorrow? Todd, guys, where would you go? Would you lean DK Metcalf or Calvin Ridley this week?
Ridley. I'd still go Ridley. You can throw against the Niners.
Ridley's been just as bad as DK, to be honest.
I know. That's why I think I lean DK if the weather is decent tomorrow against
Washington. With the weather, since there's rain, I'm going Ridley.
I still think Ridley's worth a start, though. Basically, to answer your question, Todd, yeah, he's worth a start. If he's good, awesome. If he's mediocre, it's still a step in the right direction. But if he's bad again, then he's probably borderline wide receiver 3 flex territory the rest of the season.
Real quick, 10 seconds. Jahan Dotson or Calvin Ridley?
Ridley. Actually, I take
you made it.
Dotson. Yeah, I was about to open my beer. That's why. Fuck it. Dotson has finished as a wide receiver 24 like 3 times.
And Seahawks can be beat through the air. I hate to say it, but I kind of want
Dotson. I go Dotson over Ridley.
That's totally fair. Looking at the Sunday night football game, guys, I say this every once in a while, and I'm going to say it for this one. Go do something else during this game. Don't put yourself through this game. Go spend some time with your significant other. Go play Call of Duty. Go hang out with Ripley, Ike. Something.
He hangs out with Ripley all the time.
My question to you, Ike, here was Michael Plant yelled at me about the stupid Breece Hall question last week about is he a top 5 running back rest of the season? But what am I supposed to ask about this?
Ask a tougher question.
What?
That's all I want.
Do we want Alan Lazard? No, we don't want Alan.
No, the dude can't.
You want Breece Hall? You want Garrett Wilson in this offense, but where do we go?
Do you trust? This would be a good circle of trust Fokker question? Like, do you trust Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall the rest of the season with Zach Wilson, knowing he has the full support of Robert Saleh behind him?
I do, because Breece Hall has been consistently finishing as an RB2 with really high RB1 upside, and Garrett Wilson's, like you said earlier, is seeing 12 plus targets in four of his last 5 games. So they're getting the
volume's there, but it's not great, is my point.
Don't expect a lot of touchdowns, but all you need for a running back is
ceiling.
12 points. Just get 12 points for a running back, which Breece can do that most of the time.
I want you to recant that statement, because I remember last year we were saying all you need is a tight end is just 10 points. Now the difference between a running back and a tight end is only 2
Dude, running backs are brutal right now, man. The running back 24 is, I sent it to Dylan. I forgot what it was. Pretty sure is averaging around 12.8 points per game.
Or like 11 points per game or something. It's not
under 12. Yeah, it's not good, man.
But here's the thing.
Injuries also.
Yes, you guys could disagree with this, but here's the thing. We're in the part of the first half of the season, everybody has great weather. Second half of the season is where the weather starts to get bad, cold, rainy, like Angelo was saying earlier. You have to kind of rely on the run a little bit more in the second half of the season due to the weather, unless you're playing it. Yeah, depending on where you're playing. Miami. But it does change, though, is my point. So those running backs could become a little bit more effective down the second half of the stretch because of the weather, is my point.
But right now, just to say how bad running backs are, you would say DeAndre Swift probably hasn't been great except for maybe 2 weeks. He's been somewhat consistent. He's pretty sure RB5, maybe even better. That's not good, man. The running backs clearly have been struggling this year, at least up until this point.
That's why you draft wide receivers early. But Mike, looking at the Raiders side of things, awful matchup for
even
Devontae
in half
Adams
PPR, you do,
and Jacoby Myers. Are you rolling them out anyway, man?
So, reluctantly, you have to start Adams.
You don't, because we answered a couple questions earlier, and we said.
Well, if you have Tannehill as another option, obviously no. But reluctantly, if your options are Demario Douglas and Devontae Adams, who you starting? It's Devontae Adams.
Devontae or DK.
It's reluctant. Devontae Adams.
DK Metcalf.
You really start DK over Devontae in that situation. You're falling. Your eyes are opening wide open for that matchup.
What is Adams gonna do to Sauce though, man?
It's the volume. That's my point. DK's all over the fucking map when it comes to the volume.
He's due for touchdowns, though, at least.
Yeah, Devontae Adams still saw 7 targets last week from O'Connell. Hell, Jacoby Myers was only relevant because he had a 17-yard touchdown run. Otherwise, Jacoby Myers was not relevant, and it was Devontae Adams for the most part and Josh Jacobs. So, like, reluctantly, you start Adams. I guess you can get away with Jacoby Myers in a flex. I personally don't want to start him this week because, like I said, the rushing touchdown is the only thing that made him relevant. But until O'Connell gets more reps with Adams and Myers, Adams is a low-end wide receiver 2, Myers is a wide receiver 3, and Jacobs is the guy you want in this offense until that happens.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. Guys, we got one more game to talk about, and that is Monday Night Football. We got the Denver Broncos taking on the struggling Buffalo Bills, who desperately need a win. I guess both these teams desperately need a wins, but Javonte Williams.
That was Thursday night too for the Panthers and Bears. Both teams desperately needed to win.
Yeah, yep. Javonte Williams, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy. You got to fuck one, kill one, marry one. Go.
Fuck them all.
So I guess I can't kill off Javonte Williams because he's finally starting to see I'll answer that here soon, but he's finally starting
to
see
the rankings first.
He's finally starting to see the work. 27 rushes for a dude coming off a multiple ligament injury, like LaPlante says, who never get, is actually pretty impressive. He should be an RB2 for the rest of the year, and I actually like him this week as well. But
if he can,
I guess I killed Jeudy.
If he can,
because Sutton is outperforming him most weeks. Sutton is the touchdown threat, although I think Jeudy is the better player, obviously. But still, so kill Jeudy. I'm going to marry Williams because that's personal bias because I have him in a few leagues, and I think he's good. He's actually getting better, and I guess I'm fucking Sutton.
Right on, man. I'm digging it.
Sounds like a great one-night stand.
Mike,
let me bring that up real quick so I can.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
I was gonna say I'm trying to pull it up over here.
And then we got Russell Wilson. Mike, you said earlier he's got the highest touchdown rate in football, taking on the Bills defense. That's really is banged up. I wonder if he can be a streaming option this week. You got any thoughts on that or not?
I guess because Bronco. I mean, the Bills are struggling against like their defense is just straight up struggling.
Banged up, so man. Hurting.
And Milano is such an underrated middle linebacker, just in the league. So, like, yeah, you can get away with a streaming option. Like, question: who would you rather have, Russell Wilson or Howell?
I
still lean Howell personally.
I think I lean Sam
because
Howell
the thing is that Russell Wilson has an advantage right now is the touchdowns holding him up. He's got 14 on the year, but he's got less passing attempts than Trevor Lawrence, who only has 9 on the year. So, like, it's the touchdowns that's keeping him afloat. Like, so yeah, like he's a good streaming option, but there are some better streaming options this week if you could.
Yeah, definitely. And Mike, looking at the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, you definitely have him the highest out of every F6P ranker. 13. Next highest is Nick and Dennis at 16. And then Joe has
over him.
And if you want to hear Ike go in depth and more of his rankings, make sure you tune in on the Sunday Social Show tomorrow, as Ike's going to be our expert ranker on the show for a 15-minute segment. But what were you saying, LaPlante? Or are we moving past it now?
We can move past it.
All right. Looking at the Buffalo Bills side of things, are you panicking on James Conner, man? If you're an owner, are you looking for help elsewhere, or are you just kind of roll with James Conner?
You saw this.
Cook. I think I said Conner.
I know you saw this in the show sheet earlier, and I know you didn't want to mention it, but I'm going to say it here live. This is why I give you shit about questions. Give us questions that don't relate to your fantasy team. Because I feel like some of these questions, they're relevant. Don't get me wrong. Nobody has got James Cook, and he's asking me if I'm panicked about James Cook. But
that's relevant. Don't get me wrong. Just went there.
Question is relevant. This question is relevant, is my point. But you can see a theme in our questions.
The problem is the only people who know that it's about my fantasy team is you. So now you're
I told you earlier. If it's you two, I'm going to throw you under the bus. I don't care. You throw me under the bus all the fucking time. I have tire tracks on my leg.
I will 100% of the time throw you under the bus.
Exactly my point. That's all I will say about that. All right. Now, answering your question. Rest of the year, James Conner. All right, for that question. Coming off the IR, he's going to play this weekend, I believe, from what I saw. Now, on James Cook, last 5 games, he's finished as an RB. God, I got the burps. As an RB1 just one time, RB8. All right. And then the 4 other games, he couldn't get better than RB31. It was pretty much 30 to 36 was that range for those 4 other games. He's 25th for all running backs in red zone rushing attempts, which we knew was going to be kind of like the one thing in this offense because Josh Allen
better than Bijan.
Fuck off.
See, this question just wasn't for me either. It was for Angelo.
Well, that's why I said this one is relevant. I understand it, but like that T. Higgins one earlier you threw out.
Just know when you're shitting on James Cook right now, you're shitting on Bijan too for even
just a little insider to anybody who's sticking around at this point at a 1 hour and 20-minute mark. On the show sheet, the question Dylan scratched was, is T. Higgins a sell high? Like
how could he be a sell high now? Ass, he's hurt.
Exactly my point. Like you're asking that question like you're like, hey, should I trade him in our league?
I asked it on Wednesday.
But the funny thing that I thought, you say better than Bijan. What's actually funnier is A-Chain in the 4 games he played before going on IR had 13 rushing attempts, 2 less than James Cook has through 9 games. But again, we knew James Cook wasn't going to get a bulk of the red zone carries because of Latavius Murray. But then here's the thing. He's 19th in rushing attempts. He's 22nd in targets for RBs. Like, he's just a solid, actually, I wouldn't say solid. He's a boom bust RB2 at this point. He's boom bust because of the fact he's finished as running back 3 the past 4 out of 5 games. And the fact you have Leonard Fournette, who recently signed to the practice squad, which just, if you read between the lines, if you're signing a former Super Bowl running back who, you probably aren't comfortable with your running back room at the moment.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm scared.
Why Latavius called that meeting. He's probably like, shit, I'm going to lose my job.
It just sucks, guys. Josh Allen's just not willing to check the ball down. And that's James Cook's shtick. That's his biggest thing. And we were hoping, remember at the beginning of the year in the offseason, all the talk was Josh Allen needs to slow down. He's got to stop running so much so he stays healthy.
But they're losing, so I don't think it's going to happen because he's going to
it hasn't happened yet. But hey, maybe you'll win more games, ass, if you do.
Which makes me wonder, why draft a receiving back when you know Josh Allen doesn't do that type of stuff? Why not draft?
It's like they wanted to force him into it by doing that. And
you can't. There's some, like Lamar Jackson doesn't throw the running back.
You can't put
Josh Allen doesn't throw the running back.
You can't put Pandora back in the box.
Yeah, he likes to send the ball, man. Get deep guys who like to run fast and just spread the field. That's all you need to do.
And it sucks. I'm a James Cook owner everywhere. He was highlighted my running back sleepers video heading into the season, and there was times where he helped your fantasy teams, but a lot of times he's really struggled. But
Angelo,
obviously. But
Angelo brings up a solid point here where he says Fournette's going to take Latavius' spot.
Sure,
to a degree, because here's the thing: Leonard Fournette can catch the ball. We've seen it with Tom Brady. Like he
really good. Yeah,
he is. So like he could eat into James Cook's
about 80 balls one year, man.
Which is basically what's keeping him afloat at the moment.
Yep. If Fournette just slides into Latavius's role and doesn't take any more of that, then I'm okay with James Cook.
That's fine.
That's fine.
But as soon as he starts, I hear you. But as soon as he starts taking more snaps than what Latavius is, that's when I'll start very panicky. Like, this isn't good. Like, James, maybe you're pushing James Cook into maybe not even starter territory. But at this point, you're still fine with him as your RB2 because your RB2 spot is not great in general as in fantasy in general. Running backs just aren't great. So, but guys, we did it. Hour and 25 minutes. We even had 4 teams on bye. We still can't get this sucker under an hour, but it's a ton of fun talking shit with you guys. We can answer these couple questions here. What do we got? Pull them up.
I take that back. It's not a couple. It looks like just one.
All right. What do we got?
We got Dre here. Thank you for joining us, Dre. We appreciate you watching. Join us tomorrow for the Start Sit Show if you have any more questions. But he wants to know, Kyler. Man, I can't speak now. Howell, Kyler, Purdy, or Baker?
Was that?
That one I would actually take Kyler Murray, I think there.
Whoa. I was going to say Howell. That's who I biased in my ranking.
Those two are the ones I'm debating between right now. I think Howell's technically safer because Kyler's literally coming off an ACL injury. But I can understand you can make the argument for
If you don't
Kyler.
play in a sack league, Howell's pretty fantastic, not gonna lie.
Howell's a borderline, he's a borderline QB1 because of the volume, which makes him a streaming option. And like I said, Kyler Murray's a borderline QB1. So, like, they're around the same territory. Like, if you looked at the projected points, I'm sure they're probably not far off.
I do kind of want to check. I think Sam Howell might be leading or at least top 3 to 5 in most 300-yard games this year, right? Has to be.
If probably pretty close, yeah. I think that's probably right. Yeah.
300-yard passing games?
Yeah.
I looked at it. I actually had this argument with, well, not argument, but this debate with Sean. I think he's got like 3 or 4.
Yeah. I only think Mahomes has that many. I could be wrong. I'm just.
Yeah, let me look it up quick because this one was an easy one.
While he's looking it up, guys, I just want to remind you, everybody, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel on your way out if you don't already. Hit that bell for notifications so you know when we go live tomorrow. The Sunday Social Show, 10:30 Eastern Time, will be here. Alan Sandage, our betting expert, will be here talking with us. Ike will be here talking his rankings, and I'm hoping he sticks around for the start-sit segment that is yet to be discussed. But LaPlante, anything to add? Did you find it?
Yeah, you got 4 QBs that have 300-yard passing games. You got Cousins, Carr, Tua, and then you got 6 QBs with 300. That's Howell, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Mahomes, Stroud, and Stafford.
Right on. We'll just
So yeah, he's literally up there as far as like 300-yard passing games. Like I understand the names aren't great. Cousins, Carr, Tua, Howell, but then you get Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Mahomes, Stroud. So like, it's the volume.
Yep. Howell's been a sneaky, quiet, decent fantasy quarterback this year. It's been,
sneaky, quiet, decent. Using it.
He's been the best streamer so far. Yeah, he's been the streamer so far.
Angelo, I'll be up watching. I got to work in the morning anyways, so I'll be up.
I'll be up. I have to take out my freaking dogs.
Have fun watching the Colts Patriots.
Yeah, it'll be
lucky you don't have a young dog to take out.
It'll be a great time. But guys, for Mike and Ike, I'm Dylan. We will talk to you guys all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.